Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Mueller here. This week we're going to still take a look at the standard with respect to operations on polynomials. We're going to also look at target 8b again, but we're going to look at another type of polynomial we can factor. We're going to factor trinomials. Trinomials mean it's a polynomial with three terms. Tri means three, and we're going to look at it in the term of 1x squared plus some constant times x, and then plus some constant, okay? So in other words, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at it as 1x squared plus, I think I said constant, should be coefficient times x plus some constant. So it's going to have a squared term. It might have a middle term, but it's definitely going to have a constant at the end, okay? And to get you started for this, to warm you up, what I'd like you to do is pause the video and go ahead and see if you can multiply these two sets of binomials together. Binomial means two-term polynomials. So if you would, go ahead and again stop the video, take a few minutes here and see if you can multiply those out. Okay, so this is what you did last week, and let's see if you got these right or not. If we look at the first one again, we're going to use a process, as we stated, called the distributive property. But I noticed a couple of you wrote back that you like this term FOIL, which is just the order of using the distributive property, okay? We're going to take first times first term, that's where the f comes from, that's x squared. We're going to take the outer two terms, that's the O, x times positive 3 is positive 3x. We're going to multiply the inside two terms, and then we're going to multiply the last terms. That's what FOIL stands for. And then generally you just look to see if you can combine those two middle like terms. So we get x squared plus 5x plus 6. Nothing else to combine together, there you go. Now let's do the same thing for this problem. We're going to take 2x times 3x, okay? That's 6x squared. That's the first terms. The outer terms, we're going to take 2x times negative 4, which would be negative 8x. The inside terms is 7 times positive 3x, would be plus 21x. And then the last terms, 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. And then again, look at those two middle terms to see if you can combine anything together. Negative 8x plus 21x is 13x, and then you're minus 28. No like terms left to combine, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, hopefully you got those right. If you did, maybe pause the video, go back and see what you did wrong. But again, I didn't mention this much in last week, but the distributive property, FOIL, is just the order in which you do it. You don't have to do first, outer, or last. You can do outer, inner, last, first, or whatever method. But a lot of people like that term FOIL. Now, again, that's for multiplying binomials together, two-term polynomials. So how does factoring figure into this? Well, as we've stated before, ladies and gentlemen, factoring is the reverse process of multiplying. So when you went ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and took x plus 2 times x plus 3, again, and getting the answer at x squared plus 5x plus 6, that was the distributive property, which involves multiplying. Okay, that was your FOIL. That's the order in which we multiply. And again, that used the process of multiplication. Well, factoring is where you take a polynomial and you do the reverse process. You break it up into its factors. X plus 2 would be a factor. X plus 3 would be a factor. And that process, again, is called factoring. Okay? And I like to call it the process we're going to use to do that, reverse FOIL. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how do you start with this polynomial over here and get back to your two factors? Well, a lot of it has to do is how did you get, ladies and gentlemen, how did you end up getting, when you multiplied, how did you get the x squared, how did you get the 5x, how did you get the 6? Well, we got the x squared here by multiplying the first two terms together. All right, so these first two terms, x and x, have to be factors of x squared. We got the last term, positive 6, by taking positive 2 times positive 3. Maybe I should just put those in a different color. We got the positive 6 by taking the last two terms together. So you take positive 2 times positive 3, you get 6, or the factors of a positive 6 are 2 and 3. Okay, now the middle term is the one that's a little bit more hairy. How did we get that? Well, we got that by taking, ladies and gentlemen, this 2x, the insides, and then the outsides, and adding them together. Okay, 2 times x is 2x, 3 times x is 3x, and add those together, you get that middle term of 5x. So if we're going to go, ladies and gentlemen, from having x squared plus 5x plus 6 back to x plus 2x plus 3, you've got to understand the first 2 terms, x and x, were factors of x squared. The last 2 terms, 2 and 3, were factors of 6. The middle 2 terms we got by taking the outers and the inners and adding them together. So 5x, we looked at the outers, the 3 and the x, the first x, the inners, the 2 and the x, their product, and adding them together to get 5x. Now I know that may sound a little bit complicated, but what we're going to do for the rest of these is just go ahead and look at some examples, okay? And so you should have, like I said, you have some paper in front of you, or you know, if you're taking notes on paper, or I don't think I have copies of the notes for you, like example sheets, but you can just do these in a regular notebook paper as we go through, okay?